First, he starts by selecting a small rectangular scrap piece of dark-grained wood. Using a white pencil and a small ruler, he carefully measures the end. He scores straight guidelines across the surface of the wood, making sure his markings are perfectly squared to determine the exact size of the block he needs. Once the precise dimensions are mapped out, he secures the wood and uses a fine-toothed handsaw to cut directly down along the white line. He holds up the severed piece to the camera. As you can see, the handsaw leaves the edges of the newly cut wooden block looking quite rough. To clean this up, he turns on a bench grinder equipped with a circular sanding pad. He firmly presses the uneven face against the spinning disc. He systematically grinds down every rough side of the block, constantly checking his work until he achieves a perfectly flat, smooth, and uniform wooden cube. Now that he has a flawless blank canvas, he takes his white pencil and ruler once again to find the exact center of the block's face. By drawing diagonal, intersecting lines from corner to corner, he creates an X mark that acts as a perfect central reference point for his next step. He grabs a clear plastic stencil featuring various circular cutouts. He positions it over the block, aligning one of the circles perfectly over his center dot. Using a fine-tipped marker, he traces the inside edge of the stencil, leaving a perfectly drawn circle right in the middle of the wooden surface. After marking all 6 faces of the cube with identical circles, he takes a rotary tool fitted with a cylindrical carving bit and begins to hollow it out. He carefully bores into the center, tracing the inside of his ink lines while clearing away the excess material, while maintaining a crisp, perfect edge. He continues to work the bit back and forth, slowly and evenly deepening the circular recess, while making sure the bottom surface stays relatively flat. He presents the progress to the camera, noting that he has hollowed out the circle to a depth of roughly 2 millimeters, repeating this across all 6 sides. For the next phase, he switches out his bit for a much finer, pointed carving tool. He begins to meticulously undercut the interior edges of the circle. He applies a very light, controlled touch. He carves inward and underneath the rim of the hole, being incredibly cautious not to accidentally snap the delicate outer frame. He holds up the cube once more, revealing that the interiors of all 6 circular windows have been deeply undercut and hollowed out in the exact same fashion. Now comes the critical structural work. He uses the fine pointed bit to drill completely through the thin, weak intersections where the circular recesses meet inside. He steadily carves through these internal ridges, effectively breaking down the solid walls that connect the central mass to the outer shell of the cube. Pointing with a thin needle tool, he highlights the empty gaps he's created. The internal core is now only anchored to the outer frame by the 8 inner corners. To finally detach the inner ball, he angles his fine carving bit to attack those remaining 8 corner joints, working methodically from 3 different directions. He carves with intense precision, slowly shaving away the last bits of connecting wood at the corners until the internal sphere breaks entirely free from the outer cage. He rotates the piece in his fingers. The solid